Big night tonight. What We Do in the Shadows is back.
Oh, it's coming on tonight.
Yeah, so tonight, What We Do in the Shadows is finally back. And if you haven't had a chance to see it, this is one of those shows you have to binge. It is so creative. You know, everyone always looks at comedies, like situation comedies, and they're like, oh, it's the same story over and over. It's some family, or there's some, fat guy and hot wife, and there's some issue, and the kids are precocious, or it seems like the same story over and over. The thing that's brilliant about What We Do in the Shadows, if you haven't seen it, it's a bunch of vampires who live in Staten Island. They've moved to Staten Island, and they're basically just trying to get by, just trying to live like the rest of us, except, they're in Staten Island and they're vampires. So there's issues that come up. They run into people, they find out a werewolf. So it's the werewolves versus the vampires, but it's funny and it's creative, and it's a lot of actors that you'll recognize from other stuff. There's one guy who's an energy vampire, which we all know. We know that one guy that we work with that, you don't want to say hello to, because, hello leads to, oh, so how you doing? So this weekend, I think my daughter's coming over.
It's always the IT guy. Always the IT guy you never want to talk to. You just want him or her to fix your computer and move on. But no, they have to
exactly.
talk.
It's always that guy in his 40s who inexplicably has grandchildren and wants to tell you everything about them, and that they're going to barbecue and what they're going to eat, and that they're going to go to Target and what they like to get at Target, and just nothing you care about, but they just drone on, like to the point where they can just talk and talk, and you can just sort of go off in your own little world. And did I leave the oven on? Did I answer that email? Oh, let me text somebody. And then you can just get back to the conversation at any point because you've missed nothing.
Well, their whole job is waiting for stuff to break. So they're just waiting. Oh, something broke. Okay. And then they run to that, and they're happy because somebody's actually talking to them while they're fixing the machine that you're complaining about.
Right. And if you do watch What We Do in the Shadows, you'll recognize Harvey Guillen, Guillen. He plays Guillermo, but you'll recognize him because he's been in a ton of stuff, like especially recently. He's been in a lot of things that you would just be like, oh, that dude. Mm-hmm. My favorite show, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. He played George. He was in that. Mm-hmm. Room 104, which is one of my favorite series on HBO. He's been in a ton of stuff, The Magicians, and you'll look at Archer, you'll look at it and be like, oh yeah, that dude. So he's in there. He plays the assistant to the head vampire.
Did they cancel Room 104 yet?
I don't think it was supposed to be a long series. I think it was supposed to be a limited series.
No, I think it was like 4 or 5 seasons, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that was it. I don't think it was like they were trying to continue. I don't know. Good question. I don't know. But they did cancel Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Yes. And I'm sad about that. I know. It's terrible.
You know why? Because the guy that was on the show was on our show. So if you come on our show or we talk about you, you die.
Yeah, or your career dies.
One of the two. It's not a good thing.
I don't recommend talking to us.
And American Horror Story is back, which I had no idea it was back until last night when I'm flipping through. I'm like, holy crap. Can nobody tell me that this is coming back?
Now, American Horror Stories?
No, the real American Horror Story is back. It's on demand now.
Wow, that Ryan Murphy is just cranking them out because, he just finished American Horror Stories where there's one that was a 2-parter and then each one was kind of its own story. And those just ended.
Yeah, I mean, usually we count the days down.
I know.
That it's coming out. But no, I was flipping through and I went, this is back already? How is that even possible?
So what's this one supposed to be? Where's this one take place?
I have no idea. I didn't watch it. I was like, I can't start halfway through. I got to start from the beginning. So that will be my weekend thing.
Okay, so it's back Wednesdays. This one's called Double Feature.
See, have you heard anything about it?
Not a one thing. And this is like our genre. This is our thing. So here's what it's supposed to be about. It's a struggling writer, his pregnant wife, and their daughter moved to an isolated beach town for the winter. And of course, once they settle in, the residents begin to make themselves known. And of course, they're all going to be like, ghosts and stuff like that. And as you know, the way Ryan Murphy works, he doesn't do anything without Evan Peters. So Evan Peters, of course, is the star of it.
Mm-hmm. He gets the same people over and over and over again. But yeah, I'm surprised.
But that's what's so brilliant about him. It is the same people over and over. It's like an ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
It's really brilliant the way he has the same actors and uses them in different ways and different characters each time. So brilliant.
But we do research every day for this stupid show, and neither of us saw anything about this coming out.
Yeah, I know.
Were they embarrassed of it and just buried it, and they didn't promote it at all?
It is pretty amazing, but it's the same cast. It's Sarah Paulson, Evan Peters, Lily Rabe, Finn Whitrock, Francis Conroy, Billy Lord, Leslie Grossman, Adina Porter, Dennis O'Hare, all the same people you've seen. Macaulay Culkin is in this one.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised. I was just like you. I was today years old when I learned what a grimace was and American Horror Stories back.
I know. It's a big day for us. Big day. Big day of learning. Question for you.
Yep.
Is getting married on September 11th disrespectful and distasteful?
Yes and no. Yes, because it's not a day you want to celebrate, but it's a day that's easy to remember. So I like wedding days that you can remember. So that's an easy one. So it's either you get married on Christmas, Halloween, or some other holiday. You
do realize that Christmas and Halloween don't carry the same weight and sadness and intensity as September 11th.
No, I understand that. I'm saying a day that sticks out in your head, though.
Right.
That's September 11th is the day that's always going to stick out in your head. And so is, for me, Halloween and Christmas.
No, get married on your wife's birthday or something. It's a trend right now. What's happening is because people couldn't get married during COVID, during, the 2019, 2020, it's a backlog of weddings. And there's all these people that don't want to wait because they were trying to get married in 2019, but they had to cancel. 2020, they had to cancel. Because September 11th is such a foreboding day to get married, all these venues are available on September 11th.
And September is the month you want to get married.
Right, because of the weather.
The weather.
So there's all these brides that have said yes to getting married on September 11th. And New York posted a whole article about it because, here in New York, September 11th is like, just today I walked by this truck that was like a locksmith and it had a big thing on it, never forget. And it had the Twin Towers. Mm-hmm. So here in New York, it's like it happened yesterday. It's not, it doesn't feel like it's been, 20 something years.
20 years.
20 years.
This year is going to be 20.
Yeah. It does not feel like it's been 20 years. So there's some people that are like, look, it's been 20 years. I can get married on September 11th now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of brides are doing one of two things. They're calling it the 11th of September.
Right.
Instead of September 11th. So that way it doesn't sound as foreboding and upsetting and distasteful. But then a lot of brides are acknowledging it. They're getting married that day, but they're having a moment of silence, or they're going to have somebody come and do like a reading, or they're going to honor the day. They're not just going to get married that day. They're going to also acknowledge the day. That they're not going to pretend like, oh, it's just a random day for us. They're acknowledging that was one of the most horrific events in the history of this country.
Okay, I can see
modern history
that September 11th it's going to be a Saturday this year, but you can choose from the 4th, the 18th, or the 25th if you want to be married in September.
No, you don't say what I'm saying to you. Those dates are booked.
Oh, so that's the only day that was open.
All the dates are booked. They've been booked for a long time. When someone's wedding was canceled in 2019, they rebooked it for 2021.
Well, then get married on Tuesday. There's nobody getting married on Tuesday.
No, I would say to those brides, I would not want to go to a wedding on, you can call it the 11th of September, but as a New Yorker, like that just...
Yeah, in New York, you're getting married on the 11th. That's pretty wrong.
Right. I feel like that's a line that I wouldn't cross. I'm sorry. If you're inviting me to your wedding and it's on the 11th of September, I don't want to go to a wedding to begin with. I hate weddings. But if I have to go to your wedding, that's going to be my excuse not to go, because to me, it's still really, I can't celebrate and party and have fun and celebrate you on a day that, and me, somebody that lost two people that day. It just feels icky. It feels icky. And, I'm sorry you're dying to get married in September, but how about this? Get married in November, December. You can find another date. Get married on a Tuesday.
A Tuesday in November. Nobody's going to be booked that day.
Exactly. Choose the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Great day. No one has a problem that day. We didn't lose it. We didn't lose thousands of people. It didn't change history. It didn't change how we fly. I don't know.
Get married on the 31st. It's a Sunday, October. There you go. Halloween. Get married on Halloween.
There you go.
Then I'll never forget it.
Right. Right. But see, a lot of people that are getting married, this is the analogy they're giving. It's the same thing. You're not supposed to eat. You would never eat an endangered species. But what if you're starving? People are using that as an analogy. Like, it's like eating an endangered species to keep from starving. Many people who want to get married are considering it a matter of survival. But I call bullshit to that. That's just a fucking excuse. Because here's why: you don't have to get married.
Yeah, that's not even close to the same thing.
I'm quoting the New York Post article. That's the analogy they gave. Right. What I'm saying is, there is nothing in the world that says you must be married. You don't have to get married. And if you do, it doesn't have to be on September 11th. I'm sorry. I have a real problem with it.
Okay. You and Joe are hiking in the mountains of wherever, and you guys are lost, and it's 6 days and you haven't eaten, or 16 days and you haven't eaten. Would you eat meat then? Would you eat Joe?
I would not eat Joe.
You would not eat Joe?
No.
But that's the only food around. He's like, you can have my leg. Let's eat my leg.
Wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
You're that much of a vegetarian that you won't eat Joe's leg?
No, I would not eat Joe's leg.
Even if he wanted you to eat his leg?
Even if he offered me his leg and says, please eat this to survive, I'd be like, no, we had a good run.
Will you eat like a squirrel?
Here's the thing. Let's say I do eat a squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean we're going to survive, because we could spend another 10 days.
Then eat another squirrel.
I don't think I could do it. I'm sorry. I don't think I can do it. This is why I bring Kind bars with me and nuts and raisins. There's the reason I bring this stuff with me.
It's Naked and Afraid. They eat snakes and spiders.
Which is why I would never go on that show. This is why I don't go hiking. This is why I don't go anywhere. You know where that's never going to happen? My couch.
Brooklyn.
Right.
There's always going to be a McDonald's right there.
Somewhere. That's why I don't leave the city. It's never going to happen to me walking down 48th Street.
But would you break the vegetarian thing to eat an animal if you had to survive?
I mean, right now, sitting here, I would say no, because I just couldn't do it. It's like, to me, eating poo. It's like saying, would you eat a piece of poo? I couldn't do it. I don't know. When you're starving, it might be a little bit different. Look, there's days that I'm really hungry. I don't feel like getting out of bed, go all the way to the kitchen. I'm looking over at the dog like, you better move faster.
I can eat his fur at least.
You better move faster, because I don't know if I'm going to make it to the kitchen.
You couldn't go 6 hours in the forest without eating a wild animal. You would be starving, and you would have to eat an animal.
Yeah, you're probably right. You know what? I wouldn't even have to wait until I was abandoned there or lost there or, had to survive. It would just be like, 4:00. I have to eat now. I didn't bring enough food with me.
You took the wrong turn in the
Right.
GPS.
Sorry, deer.
Now I have to eat a deer. Yeah, you can't go that long without eating.
No, I can't go long without food. Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, the things they eat on that show, it's just, they cut trees down and eat the bark.
I would do that. Okay.
So bark is one thing, but an animal, could you kill it skin it and then eat it if you had
No, I
to.
definitely couldn't. Joe would have to do that for me. But here's the thing. The problem with eating like a berry or a leaf, that could kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about it. Hopefully the people that go to Naked and Afraid, they know what they can and can't eat.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They say, I think this is good, nom, nom, and they eat it, and then they call the people in to take them out.
No, I'm way too picky. You know me. Like if I go to a restaurant and they don't have romaine lettuce, don't give me arugula. I'm not going to have arugula.
But if you were starving, you would eat the arugula.
No, I've been starving and been like, you know what? No, thank you. I'll just wait until I'll go home and have a sandwich.
I know, but that's you being a pain in the ass, not you being starving and gonna die in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's hard to say what you would do unless you're in the situation. I've been like, oh, I'm so starving. But, like New York starving. Like I can't get from the gym to my house. I'm going to swing by a deli and buy something on the way home. Like that kind of starving. But actually starving to death. I don't know. I mean, look, your survival instinct probably kicks in at that point. You're probably willing to eat a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally eat.
Mm-hmm. No, I would eat a person if I had to.
You would eat a person?
Yeah, if they wanted me to. They said, take my leg. I'd be like, okay.
Okay, what if a person that you're with lost in the forest died?
Oh, I'm grubbing on them.
Huh?
I'm grubbing on them. It's
really?
buffet, yeah. It's buffet time.
What part do you start with?
I don't know. I mean, I would think the leg, calf, maybe. There's some fat on that. A boob. If it was a girl, a boob. I'd eat boobs.
There's no fat in boob. I mean, it's only fat in boobs. There's no meat in there. You'd have to eat the butt.
But I would still eat the boob. I would like to eat the boob.
You would just enjoy eating. That's a little bit different because that's mostly just flesh and boob stuff.
No,
if you wanted something substantial so that at least you wouldn't starve, you'd probably have to eat the butt.
Okay.
You'd have to eat the booty.
See, if it's a girl that dies, I'm eating boobs and butt. I mean, that's the first thing I'm eating. Then I'm moving the legs and calves. I'm keeping things around. I'll go for an arm, maybe an ear.
You better hope she has like a little meat on her. You better, because then you can have a belly. I mean, there might be some. You should spend more time with people who have go hiking with people that have a little weight on them. Otherwise,
yeah,
I don't know what you're gonna do. Otherwise, you're the food.
But I think by the time I get done with the boobs and the butt, I think the people are going to be there to rescue me.
You'd be saved?
Yeah, because I don't think I can save the rest of the meat for a long time. I'm going to eat it pretty quick. I don't want it to go bad.
Well, no, you can't eat it all in one sitting.
Oh, yes, I can.
No, but you don't know how long you're going to be there. You don't know how long you're going to be there. You got to make it last over time.
But I don't know how to make it last because it's going to go bad, and then the wolves are going to come in, and they're going to eat some. So I got to mac on your boob quickly.
That's a good point. It will go bad because look how quickly, like...
I have no freezer.
Right.
So I'm going to have to eat as much as I can quickly.
Oh.
And just know, if you die around me, your boobs are gone. I'm eating them.
Right. That's actually a really good point. I didn't realize that you have to eat as much of the person as you can immediately because it's not going to, you're right. It's going to, the person's going to go bad.
Yeah. Like Naked and Afraid. If they catch a bunch of bunnies, they got to eat them quick because if they don't, then that's when the, hyenas come in at night and they take the bunnies and then they run with the bunnies.
Right. Or if they leave it too long, it also rots and you can't eat rotten meat.
Mm-hmm. So it's better not to kill them at all. Then you feel bad because then you killed the bunny, then the bunny went bad. So then you feel bad about it. So I'm not going to let your boobs go to waste.
Do you just want to eat boobs? You brought this up a lot. This sounds like you just want to eat some boobs.
No, I'm just thinking about what I'm really
thinking about boobs right now.
Right now, I'm thinking about Googling what's the best part of the human body to eat, but I just don't want to do it because...
Yeah, don't Google that because if somebody hacks into your computer,
there'll be a knock
and if
on
anyone
my
in
door.
your neighborhood goes missing.
Yeah, there'll be a knock on my door in 10 minutes. Excuse me, we saw what you looked up. They say they can't tell. Even if I do incognito, they can't see what I looked up. But I think they can tell what I looked up.
Of course they can tell. Please. Are you kidding me? The FBI has a whole team that does that. If somebody in your neighborhood goes missing, you can't have that on your computer.
You can't put what is the best. And I have to explain to them, I was on the air. It was a bit. We're trying to be informative to tell you which part of the people to eat, and that's why I was looking it up.
Oh, sure you are. Well, your neighbor is missing, and she had double D's.
Right.
See, then now you're in trouble.
So the minute your spouse dies, they get your computer and look up your history.
Well,
so
that's if your spouse is murdered.
But what I'm saying is they grab it and they look it up immediately, what you've been looking up. So I can just imagine, how do boobs taste? It's not going to look good for me.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do any of that.
Yeah, it's.
Let's let this conversation end here.